Hi guys, first thank you very much for your support and donations on Anders Around the World. In this episode I visit a whale, watch the motorcycle, watch some guns, change some tires, eat some food, watch a car, some more guns, and I go to a Halloween party. This is episode 12 of Anders Around the World, and remember that on the website you can order my DVD that I'm going to be doing after I come home with all the tips and suggestions, all the things I learned from this journey. So we start in Boston, where Todd actually wrote me a couple of months earlier saying that if I ever came by Boston I should look him up. So that's what I did. It turned out he did not live in Boston exactly, but in Mattapoisett, which was about an hour south of there. And there they are, the two pretty bikes. This is Todd in the green shirt. And Todd took real good care of me. The first day we went out, we got tuna steaks, we got swordfish, lobsters, and Todd's the king in the kitchen. He fried up some scallops, and he also made this amazing Assyrian kale soup, which somehow just got better the more days it was sitting in the pot. Amazing kale soup, everyone. Try it out. Todd has pulled a couple of strings, and now we're going to the New Bedford Whaling Museum. This was supposedly one of the largest whaling communities in the world back in the 1850s and around there. So now we'll see what kind of museum they got going here. In Denmark we say everything is bigger in America, including model ships. This is a full half-size model ship of a real whaling ship. So I just think it's kind of crazy to build a model ship that's only half the size when you could just as well build a real one. This is the weapons that they used to hunt back then, and I almost thought it was fair when I saw the boat and the size of the whale. Back then they actually had the chance of the whale winning and the hunters ending up like that. That's it. That was the Whaling Museum. A pretty cool thing that you definitely got to see if you come by here in New Bedford. Jesus. How many people is that for?
You. Kale soup's on the way too. I got soup.
Now I'll definitely gain the weight I lost in Russia. So Todd's taking me here to something called Bass Pro Shop. Supposedly this is a Walmart for rednecks, is how he put it. And he told me I was going to see a bunch of guns, fishing equipment and everything, and it's gigantic. Holy this store. So let's check it out. Sometimes I think things like this is much more fun than going to a museum. I think this is a bit of an anthropological excursion that we do like this, and it's just interesting to see the interest in North America for hunting and fishing. Some places you can get like toys for the kids so they kind of entertain them. Of course they got it here in Sea Bass Pro World too. Look at the toys the kids can go and play with. Gotta get them while they're young. Get them while they're young. And it is very much back to nature. There's a lot of bow hunting going on apparently. A lot of guns, including the Magnum 500, the world's most powerful handgun. And why not, if you don't like the bows, you don't like the guns, how about just getting a crossbow like Todd's got here? Todd's showing me around here, Mattapoisett, and check out a car like this one. Yep, I've been here officially too long now. I've morphed into a redneck, not because I've been here too long actually, but because it's Halloween tonight. I'm gonna go to one of Todd's friends' place, Todd, to Nicole's place, and I really look forward to it. Mattapoisett is a small city and they seem to be really into the Halloween thing, so I had to dress up, get myself a trucker cap, leave the burns, get a mullet. And it was nice to come there, exactly like in Denmark, drunk and happy people everywhere.
I guess I've really started to blend in here. I got my truck. I got my dog sitting here next to me. All I need is a shotgun here to the rack behind me, and I would be a real American, wouldn't I? And that's the bike. We're doing an oil change, and then I'm ready and set for Argentina, heading down that way.
So the oil change is pretty simple on the KTM once you've done it a couple of times. First you pull off the plastic, you pull off the tank, put off the bash plate and the button, pull out the drain plug, change the filter in the left tank, change the filter below also, and there's oil screen on the right side of the bike. Put the tanks back on, put on the oil, reassemble the bike, and then you're ready to start it up.
There's also a couple of other parts we needed to get for the bike, so Todd took me around to the KTM dealers, and guess how much? Donation to the cause from Cliffs Cycles, KTM here in Norfolk, Massachusetts. And now it's time to change the tires on the bike. I've done 16,000 miles, 25,000 kilometers on the front tire, which is a Pirelli Scorpio Enduro AT. And now I'm changing to something a bit more off-road oriented. This is the Mezcla Karoo 2. Okay, so I've been here in Mattapoisett, south of Boston, for about a week, hanging out with Todd and his friends. Now it's time to start heading south. I'm gonna hit New York in a couple of days, and New York. I just had a cup of coffee here, like a street vendor in New York. It's 50 cents. That's cheap. I like New York so far. So a bunch of guys suggested that I go see the High Line, which I'm not quite sure what was. I made it here now to 10th Street towards the Hudson River, and what it turns out to be, it's the old railroad, like High Line, I guess, that seemed to be made into the pedestrian street. So I'm gonna head up there just after I visit this guy and have a New York hot dog. Seriously, New York hot dog, cold piece of bread, bad kosher sausage. It's not really that great. But on the other hand, the High Line here, that's pretty amazing actually. Kind of reminds me of Korea and how they repurposed a piece of a highway into an old canal. It's kind of got the same feel here. I like it a lot.
The skyline here is apparently one of these places in New York where all the cool kids come to hang out, and I gotta say it was pretty nice. You could get away from the city and just sit, hang out, lay down, and you kind of felt you were away from the city. But look at how thought through it was. Even the bird cages were looking pretty cool. I mean, and it's one of these places you can come to dream to. When you see a poster, you could just close your eyes and imagine that, what if it had been like this instead? Other people suggested I'd go through and see Grand Central Station, which I obviously had to do. And one of the other things that I also wanted to do was Grand Central Park, which also seems to be one of these retreats where you can step away from the traffic and all the people and just relax a bit. And then my last stop in New York was Times Square. It's obviously one of these places you gotta come by. This is where the famous people are and where the wannabe famous people also come to hang out, and people who want to do anything just to get famous.
Times Square, New York. I'm about halfway through my journey around the world. Now I only got about 20,000 miles and I'm down in Argentina, and I'm going to start heading back. I met Jason a couple of days back up in Vermont, and he turned out to be a writer on a comedy show here, so he told me to come by and visit. So I made my way up here about an hour north of New York, and now we'll see how a real US sitcom studio looks.
And I gotta say, this was one of the very interesting parts of the journey for me. It's kind of cool to find out that there's about 150 to 200 people working on a show like this, just doing everything from makeup to lights to all the little details. And I got to see one of the editing bays, which is my next, Christmas wish for when I come home and I gotta finish the DVD. Ultimately, I ended up staying with Jason in Stamford one night, and he took me out. And the next day I continued south towards Baltimore. But that's where we end this time around for Anders Around the World episode 12. If you want to see more, make sure you make your way by AndersAroundTheworld.com, and there you can also check out the DVD if you haven't done it yet. On the DVD you'll find a lot more tips and suggestions and my experiences of things like border crossings, prices, budgets, all of these good things. So if you're interested, check out AndersAroundTheworld.com/DVD. And here in the end we'll have a little new segment. It's called Question of the Episode, and this question of the episode is: what are your 3 favorite things about New York? Put your tips and suggestions down in the comments. Remember to subscribe, and see you guys on Facebook.